We're live. Welcome in. That was a crazy start to the show. But apparently we're live and we're back on the sports show with no name. I'm your host. I'm Chad Bryan. I got my man Ben Bales with me. Ben, what's going on, man?
Nothing much.
It's,
Excited for one of my favorite times of year. NFL draft coming up.
I know it's this week. I can't believe it. It's like it's like Cleveland's Christmas. I mean, this is what we have.
Right.
Some cities have a chance at the Super Bowl, and the Browns just they have the eternal hope of every year's draft, and it never really going that well, or at least as well as planned. That was okay last year. I mean, the Browns did okay. Andrew Berry and company did all right drafting last year. There were a couple of weird things. I mean, 2 quarterbacks in one draft was pretty crazy. 2 running backs, a little wild, but whatever.
I think the 2 running back one at the time wasn't such of a I don't think people really questioned it until Quinshon Judkins started playing really, really well, and then you're like, okay, why do you take a second running back?
Yeah. And I got it. 2 different running styles, 2 different, you look for one guy to have a little success on the interior, although it was hard to have any success with that offensive line, the way they didn't make any room at all to run. But you wanted one guy, I guess, eventually to be successful on the perimeter. So you had a little thunder and lightning or whatever, but never really worked out that way. Hopefully Judkins can get back and be healthy. I mean, he was starting to look pretty good, although like 99% of his yards came after contact because every time he took the ball from whoever was at quarterback, there were like 3 or 4 defenders standing around him, so there was instant contact. But what can you do? Maybe the Browns will address some of those problems. Well, I mean, they did a little bit in the offseason, right? I mean, we can talk about the Steelers in a minute. I know the Steelers also have a draft coming up that you're probably excited about. I see your Savannah Bananas hat over there. I just saw someone on my Facebook timeline post that they got the email that they're getting tickets, so they're going to go see the Savannah. I know it's really hard to get into a game.
It is, but if you join, I don't know if they ended it or not, but if you join their VIB, it's like their season tickets.
Mm-hmm.
You get first come, first serve at tickets.
Yeah, I think they still do that. I think they do.
And it's, I mean, so like we're in VIB 1s, which is the very first time they ever did season tickets. So we always get first dibs at tickets. So it's like whenever early tickets go on sale, our group gets first dibs.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to one, we're not going to the Bananas this year because they have the whole league this year, but we're going to the Clowns versus the Party Animals, I believe.
Okay. That kind of sounds fun, to be honest with you.
We get to see Jackie Bradley Jr., which will be fun because I don't know if you saw he's in Banana Ball now.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have surprised me that have been kind of involved with that one way or another.
He's playing like full time.
Okay.
So like it was a shock, like that they had the whole Banana Ball draft, and the first player drafted was Jackie Bradley Jr. Everybody's like,
that's funny.
When I tell you this, nobody knew about it. None of their teams knew about it except Jesse Cole, the owner, and the Indianapolis Clowns who were drafting him.
Okay.
So when they all said Jackie Bradley Jr., they showed the reaction of their team. They're all like,
"That's great, man. That's funny."
They're all just sitting there like.
Well, speaking of drafts, we have one, like we said, coming up on Thursday, just a couple of days away now, the 23rd. So we'll start with the Browns because it's just, I don't know. The Browns had the first pick, I guess, before this. They had the number 6 pick before the Steelers have 21. So we'll talk about the Browns. Ben, what is your, as a Steelers fan, looking kind of, in from the outside or whatever through your black and yellow colored weird glasses or whatever, what do you think is like, what do you get the idea that the Browns are going to do? I mean, I know you probably listened to all the same stuff I have about, obviously need offensive linemen. It's funny because I'm looking at ESPN's needs for them and they list quarterback. And I just don't know that they're ready to draft a quarterback, but
at the same time, they're like, people like everybody was so excited about Shedeur Sanders, but if you look at his stats, he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns.
And I think it's about the eye test with him, though. I think, and honestly, with Shedeur, he came in kind of at a weird time, not having reps with the ones at all. And then he showed some flashes. I mean, he's still the only rookie quarterback. Hold on, he's still the only rookie quarterback from last year to have a passing game of over 300 yards. So I mean, that's something, especially in that Cleveland offense.
I mean, I'm not saying he was bad. I'm just saying and I mean, we talked about it over text. Some of those games, he took some really bad sacks. Some really, really bad sacks that just ended up killing Cleveland's momentum. Like that Bills game, like he took that one sack, and it's like, dude, like just throw the ball away or just take a sack instead of trying to extend the play and getting extra yards. Just like that's one thing that like he's got to learn in the NFL. Sometimes it's okay to take a sack. Mm-hmm. Like Joe Burrow said, right? Like first and second down sacks are not okay. Third down sacks, you're going to try and extend the play and get yards because you're going to punt if you get sacked anyways.
Yeah.
But on first and second down, you just want to take the sack, lose your 5 yards, and then you got a chance to still get the play. You don't want to lose 20 yards on first down off a sack and then.
Yeah. Don't run backwards.
Yeah.
He's got a, and I think that got a little bit better as he had some more starts under his belt.
Definitely did.
Yeah, he didn't have the propensity to take off and run, but I don't know.
I see everybody saying, I think the Browns should take, Carnell Tate at 6, right? Like, how many times have you seen, besides the Bengals taking Ja'Marr Chase and instantly making a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
How many times has that worked when you don't have a quarterback, right? Like the Bengals had Burrow. We knew Burrow was going to be good, right?
Yeah.
So you take Ja'Marr Chase, who you know is going to get open. That works, okay? The Browns don't have a solidified number. Everybody's thinking Shedeur, but there's talks that Deshaun Watson could be the Browns starting quarterback week 1 again. Like,
yeah, I really hope not.
If that's the case with his Achilles and his coming off that ACL injury or whatever he had, like, his mobility isn't going to be the same.
No. I don't even see how people expect him to be. And after the broken shoulder too, 2 Achilles ruptured, I just don't see how people expect him to get on the field and be the same quarterback that he ever was. I mean, he hasn't played meaningful football in like 7 years now, Ben.
Yeah, and like it's kind of one of those things when it's like, if I'm the Browns, right? Like, look at the Ravens, right? Like, yeah, you have Lamar Jackson. Like, just be efficient with the football when you throw it, right? Run the ball, first, second down, get 8 yards, and then just throw a little 3-yard out route for first down, right? Like yeah. you can play efficient football without having to throw for 350 yards. Yeah. But at the same time, you need a good offensive line if you're going to do that, because if not, like you said last year, Quinshon Judkins had so many yards after contact because it's as soon as he touched the ball, the entire team was in the backfield.
Insane, yeah. No one would be very successful that way, and he broke off some big runs. I mean, he was still able to get to the perimeter and make some plays sometimes. So, again, you hope he's healthy coming back. I think Shedeur Sanders has this year to prove whether or not he's going to be the guy. I don't think that I don't think the trial run with him is going to go much more, much beyond this season. I mean, he's a 5th round pick. They're not going to treat him like a former first rounder.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Even though he was thought of at one time as a first rounder, I'm still not exactly sure what happened. He was the number 2 overall pick, and then he went in the 5th round, and it was really weird. How badly could he have interviewed? I mean, you see how he handles the press and everything, and I think he's been pretty exemplary. I mean,
I do too. I think me and my dad talk about it all the time. Like, that's one thing I'm not a huge fan of the way Deion Sanders coaches, but one thing I will preach is you listen to all those Colorado guys talk in interviews. They all know how to handle themselves. They don't throw people under the bus. They're all professional when it comes to that. And like I said, that's one thing that Deion Sanders did well with Shedeur is he taught Shedeur how to speak to the public, speak to the media. And it's one of the things like so many times last year, they tried to get Shedeur to say stuff bad about Stefanski and about his team, and he just sat there and kind of laughed and was like, guys, like, I'm not doing that. Like,
right. That's not what we're here for. Yeah. You heard it a lot. And even, I hate to, use I guess an example of one of his worst moments, but even the speeding ticket, they released the body cam video of the speeding ticket. I mean, he spoke to the officer with respect. Yep. I mean, he didn't necessarily think he was speeding, thought the officer might've gotten it wrong, but he didn't argue it. He was just like, I don't know, man, I'm not really sure, but I trust you, I guess, whatever. I just think that I don't know with Shedeur, he just gets a bad rap, and I'm not really sure. I mean, sometimes I think people are intimidated by young, confident people, man.
I agree.
I don't know what it is. So we celebrate, man. Everybody celebrates something. Like they're kids, man. Like, let these guys be kids. They were college kids having fun, man. I don't understand the propensity to still have all this hate toward him and to wish him, ill will because he had a celebration in college. Yeah. I just don't understand, man. I'm not really sure.
I think
whatever.
Like I told people, if you're the Browns, right? Mm-hmm. I think at 6, I think you have if you don't trade it, because I've heard those rumors they might trade the 6th overall pick too.
Yeah.
What do they pick? What, 6 and 23?
6 and 24.
6 and 24. Mm-hmm. So if you really, really, really want a receiver at 6, go ahead and draft Carnell Tate because he won't be there at 24.
No, he won't. But, I think he makes outside the top 10.
But at the same time, I think the Browns' biggest need is offensive line because
it is.
You saw last year that there were times when, like, even at the beginning of the season with Flacco would drop back, he'd turn, and there'd be 4 guys in his face.
Yeah. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
Like, it's not like he can just pull one of these and go, set hike, turn, and there's 4 guys in his face. He's going to be like, oh, Carnell Tate's down there somewhere. I'm just going to huck it up there.
Yeah.
Like, let me ask you this. You being a Browns fan, what do you think they do?
Well, it's hard to get any kind of a read on what the Browns are going to do. My suspicion is that they'll end up trading this back. I just keep thinking Carnell Tate's going to go right at maybe. I don't know if the Giants. I mean, the Giants could use another wide receiver.
They could. But they also just interviewed Odell. They brought Odell Beckham Jr. in for a workout.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fun if it were, I don't know, 2017. I mean, that's a long time ago, man. His prime was a while back.
No, I agree.
I'm sure he's physically, way ahead of where I am. I don't mean to, kind of throw shade at him for any reason, but it just seems like his physical prime was a long time ago. I'd be surprised if that worked out in any positive way. But who knows? Maybe they'll try it. I've been thinking as far as the Giants at 5, I don't know. I feel like they're going to take an offensive lineman, and I feel like that might make the Browns pivot out of what they're going to do. For instance, if the Giants take one of the kids from Utah, whatever, and I think that's kind of where the Browns may be looking. I had said maybe Monroe Freeling, but some people think that's a little bit of a stretch at 6. Just not a whole lot of start, just not a ton of starts under his belt. Not a whole lot of, stuff on tape, as they say. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's hard to get a read on the Browns. I just have the suspicion they're going to trade back, and maybe it's going to be with Dallas for 12 and 20. And then you've got 12, 20, and 24. And a little bit of salary cap room that you can do some things with, and there, for some reason, have been new rumors that Myles Garrett is now going to sign a new contract that he'll extend again. That'll make him the highest paid non-quarterback in football, which means 3 days later, someone else will be the highest paid non-quarterback in football. That's how that goes.
Personally, I think the Browns fumbled the bag not extending Jim Schwartz or making him the head coach, because you just went from that Browns defense last year was they were elite, and now you got to relearn a whole new defense. And don't get me wrong, Myles Garrett's great, right?
Well, I don't think it's going to be a whole new defense. It's going to be very similar in style, and in basically, almost everything's going to be the same. I just think they'll add some new wrinkles and they'll do some things, but it's going to be the same, same basic defense, same kind of
same. But like I've told people too, right? It doesn't matter who the coordinator is. If you try and keep the same offense or same offense or defense, it's not it might be the same, but doesn't mean it's going to produce the same. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, sure, yeah, that definitely makes sense. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, my point is they don't have to learn a whole new, it's not like they're going to go line up in a 5-2 now and,
no, but I just
personnel changes and everything else.
I just think that they should have kept Jim Schwartz to keep that stability with the defense, right? Because it's when you have a defense that good, there's no reason to make a change.
Well, I get the sneaking suspicion that Jimmy Haslam wanted a yes man as the next head coach for the Browns, to either be the guy who maybe is there when the new stadium opens if they're doing well, or to be the guy that kind of gets them there and also, gets Jimmy Haslam the best return on his investment, which means that, like you said earlier in the show, maybe Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback week 1, which I think is a disaster for the Browns in a lot of different ways. I think it's a PR disaster. I think it's an on-field disaster. I think it's just an all-around disaster. If that's who is named the starter coming out of camp, that means Shedeur Sanders hasn't progressed at all. He hasn't shown any propensity to have grown at all as a starting quarterback in the NFL. It may mean Dylan Gabriel's not even on the team anymore. He seems checked out. I don't know. I mean, you got your new head coach saying, "Hey, I see Shedeur in the building every day." I've talked with Deshaun. I haven't seen Dylan Gabriel, man. I don't know where he's been. He hasn't even been around, and that's fine. You can do what you want in the offseason, but I don't know. What do they do then? Like I said, if number 6, if Carnell Tate is there, I think you take him, and not because you're ready for a number 1 wide receiver now, but because the Browns haven't had a true number 1 wide receiver in a while. Even when Jarvis Landry was, having a good year and they had a couple 1,000-yard receivers back then, it didn't feel like they had a true number one guy. It was always there was turmoil and there was this tension in the locker room. There were the YouTube videos from people's dads and things going on. It just felt weird, right? So I have a feeling that Todd Monken's going to want to go out and get a wide receiver, right? You got to start somewhere, and they're going to address the offensive line. There's no doubt about that, but I don't think you can fix it overnight.
No, I agree.
they're not going to go from 5-12 to 12-5. That's not a thing. So I think you just start building pieces.
I mean, the Patriots did with Mike Vrabel, but
that's different. Yeah, that's New England. This is Cleveland. That's very different. A whole different situation. Shouldn't be, because the NFL is built for parity, but
yeah,
here we are.
No, I get what you're saying. No, but like,
yeah,
but like one of my friends said too, right? Like, if the Browns really want to change their offense, right? Like, you can pick a receiver at 6, and get a really good offensive lineman at 24.
Yeah, there's some guys. Yeah,
and
as deep as maybe next year's draft, but there's some guys. Yeah,
or even if you want to trade back, right? Even if you want to trade back and grab a receiver in the second round, you can get 2 really good offensive linemen with like the 15th and 24th pick or whatever.
Yeah, I think they could do some things. Listen, I just don't have a whole lot of faith. I worry that Jimmy Haslam has too much input on these things, and I worry that the Browns just have this mentality to where it's like, we're going to get the most value out of the smallest amount of investment. We're going to trade back and be the smartest because we see a gem at number 38 or whatever, right? Like, and I mean, we know how often that works out here. It rarely does, right? Carson Schlesinger was a great pick last year. AL defensive rookie of the year, right? That's fantastic. A lot of that is because of another good pick. You got Mason Graham on the interior eating blocks and letting Schlesinger run around and make some plays. Again, 2 excellent picks. I thought trading back to get Mason Graham at 5, I get it. Like, people, he's number 5. He should have 15 sacks. That's not his game.
Nope.
He was never going to be a pass rusher. That's not what Mason Graham was there to do.
He's there to stop the run.
Yeah, and people, you sometimes you forget. Like, when you look at the draft, it's like, get playmakers. Yeah, eventually, but right now you do have to build from the interior out, right? So I think one of the best things to do is solidify the middle of the defensive line, which had struggled for years to stop the run. Not as badly as the Bengals, so they went out and got Dexter Lawrence, so we can talk about that in a minute. But we'll just talk about it now. I mean, because listen, I don't really trust the Browns to do the right thing. I think if like I said, if Cardinal Tate is there at 6, you take him. At 24, you either. I think you'd look to get an offensive lineman.
There's no way they draft 2 receivers, right?
No. I think that's too much, especially for an offense.
Well, I shouldn't say no way because it's the Browns, so they could.
They could draft all receivers. You never know. They could draft a safety and be like, hey, you know what? We're going to make him a receiver. But no, I think at number 24, I think you get a guy who can come in and have a reasonable shot to be a starter at left tackle or at least compete for the position. And at 24, you're not so pressed. I know he's a first rounder, but you're not so pressed to put him out there day one and have him start, right? He can be a depth piece for a year or half a year or whatever until he figures it out. And then eventually become the starter and take over at left tackle. And hopefully you get a guy that's there for 8 or 10 years. But yeah, I don't know. So the Bengals go out, whatever. They can't stop the run. They can't really stop anything at all on defense. And they trade the number 10 pick over to the Giants. So the Giants have 5 and 10 now. The Bengals have Dexter Lawrence. They signed him to an extension. Everybody's happy, right? Everybody, well, maybe not, guys trying to run the football in the AFC North. Maybe they're not. But, and Dexter Lawrence is going to get to the quarterback a little bit when he's healthy. He's not Myles Garrett. He's not going to, he's not going to run loose and get you 20 sacks or whatever. But he'll get 8 or 9 sacks if he's healthy and checked in, right? But is he going to be checked in? What was wrong in New York? I know he had some injury concerns, but it also wasn't very happy there. What was?
Could be because there wasn't winning football.
Well, and there's going to be now though. Like, John Harbaugh's there. It's a new. But
I think it's one of those things too. I think it's one of those things too when he kind of just tired of New York and been there for so long and wasn't really able to do much. And it's kind of one of those things when. One of those things where he's like, maybe wants to change the scenery, and it's gonna be one of those things where he's like, damn, grass isn't always greener on the other side. Kind of one of those situations.
Yeah, maybe.
But speaking of the draft, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Still no response from Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
So right now, Will Howard's quarterback 1, which I'm not a fan of.
Okay. No, you don't like Will Howard?
Well, it's not that I don't like him. It's just that I don't think that he should be quarterback 1 over Mason Rudolph because Mason Rudolph showed some glimpse. I think it's one of those things. Maybe you let him sit another year, even if Rudolph is your starter, because you just went out. You have DK Metcalf. You just went out and got Michael Pittman, right? You revitalized that defense. You got Jaquan Brisker. You brought in all these guys. You got a new defensive coordinator. You finally have an offensive-minded head coach who is going to call plays and has had some exciting offenses in the NFL. Everybody's like, oh.
You don't like the Arthur Smith 5 tight end approach? You don't like that?
No.
You don't like 9 tight ends on the field? Okay.
Well, I like it when you're playing like AFC North football.
Yeah. And when one of your tight ends is also 6'7", 270 pounds or whatever. That,
yeah, but like when you're also have Pat Freiermuth, who's one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL, and you just don't throw him the football.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Because you want to hand Jonnu Smith an end around or a pitch play.
He's a 7th offensive lineman. It's fine.
It's one of those things too when it's like it'll be interesting to see this year because for years, we all knew Mike Tomlin was the one making the picks in the draft, right?
Yeah.
Last year, you're like, this doesn't seem like a Mike Tomlin draft. And they asked Omar Khan, who's making the picks. He goes, I am.
Okay.
So I'm sure Mike McCarthy's going to have his say on who he wants, but
yeah. Do you have any suspicion that that's why Tomlin was ready to just kind of say, I'm done?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I think it was kind of one of those things where
I'm out. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things with Harbaugh. Like, I think Tomlin wanted full control, and the Steelers realized that, hey, yeah, you're giving us 9-8 every year, but we haven't won a playoff game in a decade.
That's
over
fair.
a decade.
I mean, honestly, it's crazy that the Browns have won one more recently, and that one was over the Steelers. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just
when you think about the franchises, like the two arcs of each of these, it's wild that that's the situation that we're in right now.
It is, and
that's where we are.
And everybody's like, what if Pittsburgh goes 8-9 this year? To be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if Pittsburgh does go 8-9, because again, right? Like it's a lot of these guys are still Tomlin's guys, right? And it's hard to win when you have a roster that was mediocre under a coach, and then bring in a new coach with the same roster that hasn't been great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think McCarthy will be good. I think having an offensive-minded coach in today's NFL is good. It's just that you look at some of those games last year, and the offense was just so potent and so bad, and just like you're dude, you're playing a home playoff game against the Texans, and you can't move the football.
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud throws 3 interceptions.
But that Texans defense was really good. I mean, they were really good. And by the time the season wore on, I mean, they were much better than the Browns defense. They were probably the best defense in the NFL.
Don't get me wrong. They were good. But when CJ Stroud throws 3 interceptions and you can't score points,
that's fair.
There's a problem. You can't even get field goals.
Hey, listen, Browns fans would take it. We're looking at CJ Stroud like at least he's completing passes to somebody.
That's cool. It's just one of those. It's one of those things when it's like if I'm Pittsburgh, right? Like looking at this mock draft here, they've got the Steelers going offensive lineman at 21, which I wouldn't hate.
Okay.
Because with Broderick Jones, he had a setback with his neck injury.
Yeah.
Which means we need a left tackle. Don't get me wrong. I like Dylan Moore. I thought he was great. 10 the year last year.
Okay. You're okay with Mason Rudolph being the guy for the foreseeable future. What do you do with Will Howard then? Is he the backup?
But here's the thing. I don't think Rudolph will be because McCarthy loves Will Howard.
Okay.
And going into minicamp, Will Howard is quarterback 1. McCarthy's already said it.
Okay.
So I think Will Howard will be quarterback 1. The reason why I like it, though, is because Will Howard is mobile. He's willing to take those hits. He's willing to take off and run the football.
Well, I was going to say, maybe in the AFC North, he might want to put on 10 or 15 pounds. No,
I agree. But at the same time, like he's shown that toughness before.
Yeah, for sure.
And, he's shown that ability to win.
Mm-hmm.
I get, Ohio State's an easy place to win. But,
not always. You still got to be 4 of the top 8 guys in the draft this year, and they didn't win last year. So,
I mean, it's easy to win games. Like, not saying you're going to win it every year, but,
yeah.
Like, you're going to be in contention for a national title almost every year.
Yeah, understood.
And now you go out and you give, I think it's the thing of, maybe it's the same. Maybe Rodgers is feeling the same way Ben did. Rodgers like, man, all I had was DK Metcalf, and now I'm unsure if I'm coming back, and they go out and they get Michael Pittman. Maybe he's going to say screw him, I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just going to say I retire. Big Ben talked about that. Big Ben's like, they gave me a center they gave me a guy who never played center before in my last year.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you think that makes me feel? He's like, I've been here for so long, and they just gone, hey, this guy's got to learn how to play center, and you're going to have to kind of teach him how to play center while also playing quarterback in the NFL. Good luck with that.
That's an important position. I mean, there's bargain hunting, and then there's that. That's a little extreme.
Mind you this, he played center for Pittsburgh, went to Houston. I think now he's with the Rams, and now he's a top guard in the NFL. And the Steelers like, center's your position.
Well, I mean, the Browns keep drafting right tackles and trying to move them over to the left side. So yeah, I think I can relate, man. I get it.
But it's one of those things when it's just like, I just think Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh will kind of keep the same motto of, best available player.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be best available player at the position they need the most, which is tackle, which I've seen Caden Proctor from Alabama, which I like.
He might be there at 21. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I thought a lot of people are looking at him as kind of a project a little bit. And he's a guy who, like, he reminds me a little bit of DeJuan Jones, where he's like, he fluctuates between like 340 and 365. And is he going to come in shape? Like, I think there's question marks there.
But then there's talks that they're also going to draft that guard from Penn State. No idea how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not gonna lie.
But at the same time, though, like, I don't think we need a guard. Like, you have Mason McCormick, or I mean, I guess you did lose Sam Wallace. So yeah, you do need a whole new left side of your offensive line.
Yeah.
So maybe it does help to go guard there.
You got 3 third-round picks. I mean, you can get your offensive linemen in the third round that I think could be serviceable. That would at least be a stopgap to get you maybe to a different guy in another draft, or free agency or whatever. But
no, I agree. I'm actually excited to see what Pittsburgh's first draft in 19 years looks like without Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I can't believe it's been that long. The run of head coaches. And it's funny because, like, I think I joked with you, like, Mike McCarthy's not gonna be there for 25 years. Like, what are they gonna do? You know what I mean?
I think
it was 80s.
I think it's one of those things when it's like, maybe they're hoping he's there for, maybe he gives you a good 10 years, kind of like Bill Cowher.
Yeah,
gives you a good 10 years till he's 70. How old is Mike McCarthy, anyways?
62, 63, I think. Look it up. I'm not sure.
He's 62.
Yeah, I think he's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so even if he gave you a good 8 years till he was 70, right? I think you could definitely find a good replacement in those next 8 years, because you'll have people that are wanting to come in and be his replacement.
Maybe they'll end up with one of the guys the Browns wanted originally, but one of the guys that wouldn't come in and just be a yes man for Jimmy Haslam. Which more and more as it goes on, I like Todd Monken. Don't get me wrong. I think Todd Monken has a great attitude. I think Cleveland could possibly break him. And I don't mean that, I don't mean that he's not going to be successful here. I just feel like there's a lot of unnecessary crap that comes from the very top here when you're the head football coach. There's stuff that you get from the owner that I think you maybe only get in, maybe one other place. It might be Dallas, right? You get some weird stuff from Jerry Jones and some on-field meddling kind of stuff. But I don't know many franchises that really have the owner talking, draft picks and free agency, and he's got his hands tied up in that kind of stuff. I don't really understand it.
I think most franchises, it's kind of one of those things when it's like, if the coach wants one guy and the GM wants another guy, then they go to the owner like, hey, who do you want? What's your opinion?
Yeah.
But like you said with the Cowboys, like who would want to be a GM in Dallas? Because you're not getting the final say. You could be like, hey, I want this guy. And Jerry Jones is like, well, too bad, we're taking that guy.
Same in Cleveland. And I heard someone, I don't remember who I was listening to the radio somewhere around here. And it's, it might have even been a national story, but they were, the Browns are a GM centric team. They've officially named Andrew Berry as the, he is, that's who Todd Monken answers to. The Browns are finally, and I'm like, how does that make them a GM centric team? That just means the head coach answers to the GM. That doesn't mean the owner's not meddling and everything. Like that didn't change anything at all. Like that. Okay, there's a hierarchy from the GM down. That does not change the fact that Jimmy Haslam likes to meddle. So whatever, it's his team. He can do whatever he wants. I just think it's counterproductive. You're not a football guy, right? Like, you're the money guy. Let the football people do the football things. You do the money things. Like, provide whatever, and let the football people make those decisions.
I will say this, though. I don't know if you saw the report. I meant to send it to you. But I saw a report. It might have been from Schefter.
Okay.
Or somebody that covers the Steelers. The Steelers will listen to offers for all four of their edge rushers. So Sawyer, Watt, Herbig, and Alex Highsmith.
Okay. Going the Bengals route. Just no pass rush off the edge at all. I guess.
Well, people are saying that they'll probably keep Watt. I mean, I think you have to keep Watt. But there's talks that...
What?
There's talks that Highsmith will be the one that's most likely dealt because of his upside and his potential, which I think you could get a second, third round pick for Highsmith, which I wouldn't be mad about.
Okay.
Because
interior lineman, then,
because I think Herbig is too good to not be on the field.
Yeah.
And if TJ Watt is refusing to move on the defensive line, like I've heard has been, it's hard to get 3 edge rushers in the game. And I think TJ Watt...
Oh, you froze on me. I didn't catch what you said. You froze on me for a minute. I'm sorry.
TJ Watt refusing to move around on the defensive line, it's hard to get your top 3 edge rushers in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I get, like, you you tied the NFL sack record, old NFL sack record from that side. You won Defensive Player of the Year from that side. You know, you had all these huge sack seasons.
Yeah.
But, like, what's stopping you from moving around and being even more dominant? Like, look at Myles Garrett, right? Myles Garrett could line up on this side. Then he could line up here. Then he could line up over the center, right? Like,
yeah.
I told somebody, I said, what is stopping? Like, how are you going to stop Pittsburgh, right? If they put Highsmith and TJ Watt on the same side, you can't double both of them.
No.
And
that's where the 9 tight end set comes in, I guess.
But if TJ Watt's refusing to move because he says his moves don't work on the other side of the line, then I'm sorry, you need to get more versatile. If you can't move around and you claim you're an elite edge rusher.
See, that's weird to me because you're the one that's setting like I get from an offensive lineman standpoint when you're going backwards, the footwork is different from the left side to the right side. That's weird, right? If you're run blocking, I don't think it matters so much. You're firing out and it's the same basically. It doesn't feel, but yeah, pass blocking is weird. I think on the other side when you're not used to the footwork, but I don't think pass rushing should be that different.
I don't think it is either, and that's why I'm so confused because it's like, I think TJ Watt played like 15 snaps last year on the right side of the offensive line.
Okay.
And I think out of those 15 snaps, I think he had 4 pressures.
Okay.
In 15 snaps.
Huh.
And it's like if you're making a right tackle who doesn't normally see you, or a left tackle who doesn't normally see you, completely change his entire game plan, it's going to throw him off.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm not saying you have to go line up over there every single play, but like, who's saying one play, right? I'm going to line up over here. Next play. Okay, I'm gonna go pick on that dude, and then next play, I'm just gonna line up right
third down confusion, man. Like out there in chaos,
Or like I said, what's stopping Pittsburgh from putting Derek Harmon, Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, put them all on the right side and let Highsmith rush off the left side by himself? How are you going to stop all 3 of those guys at the same time? You can't double all 3 of them.
Couldn't tell you how to do that. Any idea? Because the Steelers need some defensive back help too, right? Don't they need a safety or a corner? They need something in the defensive back.
I think we'll draft corner at some point, but we just got Jaquan Brisker from Chicago.
Okay.
We'll have Deshaun Elliott coming back, so we're set at safety.
Okay. All right.
Corner is where you could use some help. I mean, yes, Asante Samuel was a huge help last year.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Porter finally showed some glimpses that he might be the real deal.
Okay.
I think you definitely could go corner. But I think if you're Pittsburgh, I think you have to adjust the offensive line first because that's where your biggest hole is.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a lot of teams right now. It's at least the Browns.
Yeah.
And the Browns had so many holes. I mean, that, by the way, what the Browns did, and I'm just looking at corners that could be, you got Jamad McCoy, he's from Tennessee. He could be there. He probably will be there. A couple other guys, man, it falls off pretty quickly. Colton Hood, another Tennessee guy. The bottom of that isn't great, but I feel like by the way, I just wanted to mention that the Browns, their inability to pre-address the offensive line problem last year in the draft, taking 2 quarterbacks and 2 running backs when they knew. I mean, Ben, they had a guy that was going to retire and 4 expiring contracts on the offensive line. That's criminal negligence. Like that's a reason that's a reason for a GM to get fired. And I'm shocked that Andrew Berry did not go along with Kevin Stefanski. I'm really, really surprised. I think the only thing that saved him was Mason Graham playing pretty well.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Carson Schlesinger being the defensive rookie of the year. And I think the visuals on Quinshon Judkins looking good before the injury really saved him.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. And I just think, and I told people this, right? If Pittsburgh beats Houston, Mike Tomlin is still the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if they make a run. Yeah, you're right.
Since you lost to Houston at home on Monday night in the playoffs, Pittsburgh hadn't lost on Monday night since 1998. You hadn't lost at home on a Monday night in who knows how long.
Yeah.
And then you get completely embarrassed and booed off the field. Like
I'm sorry about that game, by the way. I picked that game for something on the net. I got torn up on social media because Houston was like a 10.5 point favorite, and people were shocked. And I was like, why are people shocked? I mean, Houston has the best defense in the league right now in football, and I think they're going to come in. I don't think Pittsburgh has an offensive identity. Like I watched that game against a good defense in the Browns where they just, I don't know what that game plan was. It was just don't let Myles Garrett touch anything. Just
and then it seems like they kept the same game plan against the Texans.
Yeah, I felt like they were going to get blown out, and I called that, and I got torn up on something, but I was right. I ended up being right. So hey, good for me. I'm 1 out of 6. That's about my average, and that's okay. I'll take it.
Speaking of average,
let's
move on to the Cleveland Guardians.
I thought you were going to tell me I was average. I was like, well, that's an improvement over what I am, but that's okay. The Guardians, they're still in first place. Ben, how are the Guardians in first place? They don't hit, right? Although Jose Ramirez was he the player of the week last week?
I think so, yeah.
Player of the week,
4 homers, 12 RBIs.
Yeah, and we knew Jose Ramirez was going to get going. I mean,
funny Jose Ramirez story.
Yeah,
I heard Trevor Bauer say this yesterday.
Okay,
it was a Trevor Bauer story. He said, we're like early into May. He's like, the first week of May. He's like, Jose Ramirez is hitting like $180.
Yeah.
And he comes into the dugout and he's like, he motions me over. He's like sitting there, pointing at his swing, he's like, saying this is wrong, this is wrong. And he kind of just shrugs his shoulders, sets the iPad down and, kind of does his Jose Ramirez strut to the other end of the dugout. And he proceeded to, the rest of the month, he proceeded to hit 458 with 12 home runs. And he finished the year he's like at the All-Star break, he was hitting 310 with 29 homers. He's like, Jose Ramirez will be just fine. Like,
yeah, you just let him go, man. He'll figure it out. Yeah.
Like, Jose's gonna and that's one thing is too, is like Jose doesn't stress about his average. He knows he'll be fine.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. When the weather gets warmer, Jose gets hotter.
And the Guardians do that as a team as well. I think they've always done that. I mean, for the past, as long as I can remember watching this team in this town, they start to warm up around, mid-May or whatever, when it finally gets into the 70s consistently. And Memorial Day, they're off and going. Sometimes it feels a little bit too late. It was almost too late last year, but they came back. And man,
you can never count out the Guardian kids.
No, you never can. But listen, speaking of the team that they came back on last year, the Tigers are hot right now, Ben. First of all, they're 8-2 over their last 10. They're just a half a game out of first. The Tigers, man, don't catch them in Detroit. You better get the home field advantage if you're going to play them in the playoffs. They're 8-1 at home this year, man. Really, really good in Detroit. They've been okay on the road, not so great, but they had a rough start to the season. I mean, they're not so great on the road as an overstep. They're 4-10 on the road, the Tigers, but
yeah.
They had a tough start to the season, but they're playing well lately. Obviously, it seems like getting home helped them out a little bit. I'm looking to see if that's the best. Yeah, I don't think anybody's even close to that home record in baseball, really. I mean, gosh, man. Yeah, the Dodgers are 9-3. The Reds are 9-2. Oh, by the way,
the Reds are 9-2 on the road.
Oh, that's what I meant to say, on the road. But the last time they started 9-2 on the road,
didn't they win it all?
They won the World Series.
Yeah.
1990. So you never know. And they got Tito down there. So wouldn't that be painful for Guardians fans to watch Tito, be done managing and then go to Cincinnati and win a World Series?
Well, I saw a post on Instagram. It was like, the Reds are first in, the NL Central, but they have a negative run differential. They have the worst average in the team, worst OPS in baseball. All these worst stats. I just commented and said, Tito Francona effect, ! Because
yeah.
It seems like it's the same thing with Stephen Vogt too. Like one thing I will say though is we need to get the bullpen figured out sooner than later. Because if you let this bad back half of the bullpen drag on, as being a pitcher.
Oh yeah,
it gets so frustrating as a starter. You go out there, throw 7 shutout innings, and then your relief pitchers give up 6 runs, and now you don't even get a win or a decision.
It happens. And I think it's more important, for the team to get the win. I think as a starting pitcher, you do get frustrated, but it's frustrating for the team.
Yeah.
Cade Smith had a nice save the other night. He came in and struck out the side. So maybe he's starting to settle in. Maybe.
But I'm talking about that Parker Messick one. Like, dude goes 9 no-hit innings, and you almost lose the game because of Cade Smith. Like,
well, I don't know. I mean, but that's on Stephen Vogt too. I think psychologically, he didn't want Parker Messick to take the mound in the 9th and see Cade Smith warming up. So Cade Smith had to hustle through his warm-ups to get ready. You know what I mean?
I also don't know why you bring in Cade Smith in a non-safe situation. In that situation, because you're up 4 runs, so it's not a safe situation, even with runners on first and second, because there's no possibility to tie the game.
Yeah.
I think maybe you go to a guy like Sabrowski or Tim Herron.
Yeah.
And then if they can do jam, they get one guy out, maybe they walk a guy, then maybe you bring in Cade Smith. But I think it's one of those things when it's like you said, one, he wasn't even warming up, so he had to get hot quick.
Yeah.
And then he ends up giving up 2 runs, and then it does become a save.
Yeah.
But
well,
I just think in the first place, like, even if you have a guy out there, just warming up, right? Like Parker Messick knows, if I give up a hit, I'm probably done. He knows that going into the inning.
Yeah, but I don't. It's like that weird baseball thing. It's almost like acknowledging the no hitter, right? Like you don't want to. I know, I get it. You got to take care of it. Yeah, maybe they just need to put like drapes over the bullpen, right? And like put like sound. You can't hear them throwing down there,
but no, it's one of those things too. When it's like, I mean, I texted you this too. Like, I also think the Guardians have to look into Austin Hedges catching 4 to 7 days.
Yeah,
like you're undefeated when he catches, and when he doesn't, your pitchers get absolutely shelled. Like,
yeah, he does a good job behind the plate, man. I mean, I know the offense isn't going to be there. He's not going to hit over 400 all year. He's not going to be that. But yeah, he does a really good job defensively behind the plate and handling the pitchers, man.
If his pitchers, when he catches, if they're giving up 1 run, right? Mm-hmm. All you have to do is scrape across 2 runs and you win the game.
It sounds so easy.
like look at yesterday, right? You go down 2-0. Hosey literally single-handedly ties you the game at 2-2. Mm-hmm. And then Slade Ciccone just double scores 2, double scores 2, double scores 2, homer. You're like, dude, like. And no offense to Bo Naylor. I think Bo Naylor has all the tools to be an average catcher. I'm not going to say good or elite because I don't think he will be. Okay. But I just don't think his ability. It just seems like every time he catches, pitchers get way too much of the plate and just get absolutely shelled. Like, it seems like if it's not Parker Messick or Gavin Williams, they're not pitching well.
Yeah. And what do you think that is? I mean, I know, like, being a pitcher, I know sometimes you just feel more comfortable with certain catchers. And I think it's a lot of it, honestly, is just a catcher understanding your flow as a pitcher, like what you want to do, what you want to throw next. And you don't have to shake off a bunch of pitches. I think that kind of gets you in your head a little bit when you're constantly going, no, like, how are we not on the same page?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's one way, right? You crouch back behind the plate, you put you put your glove up and you catch the ball. So it's always funny, even as a guy who pitched, when people say, catcher, they do a good job receiving. Well, I would hope so. I mean, that's your main dude. It's literally in your job title. It's in the description, a catcher, right? You're supposed to catch the ball. But yeah, sometimes you can't put your finger on it, Ben. Sometimes it's just there's just a guy that you feel more comfortable with for whatever reason. You just, you click and that's it. That's the battery,
I just think it's one of those things when it's like, he's just so, I think the preparation that he does going into, like, when he knows he's catching a pitcher, because I forget who said it, but somebody said it, like, Parker Messick has the quickest time from receiving the ball to throwing a pitch in MLB this year. Okay. So not only does Austin Hedges have to know in advance what pitches he wants to call, but he's got to know where he wants it located, where the hitter hits well, where he doesn't hit well.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't think Bo doesn't do preparation. I just think Hedges is so prepared that he knows, okay, in this situation, this guy's probably looking for this pitch. I'm going to throw this pitch here.
Yeah.
And with how fast Parker Messick gets the ball when he catches it to when he throws it, that gives Hedges way less time to think, okay, he's doing this. So Hedges has to think 2, 3, 4 pitches ahead and thinking, okay, with this pitch, he's going to think we're throwing this one. This pitch, he's thinking we're throwing it here. He hits great here, so we're going to throw it here. Right? Like, I just think that pitchers love that, because then they're not having to question, okay, does he know that this guy hits like 600 here? Does he know that this guy likes to chase here? I think it's one of those things when it's like, Hedges is just so prepared that he knows where these guys hit well, what pitches they don't hit well.
Yeah, like, I think as a pitcher sometimes too, you can get locked into a little bit of a pattern. You start to go, in, out, up, down, in, out, up, down, in. You go back and forth, back and whatever, and you start to become very predictable. I think a good catcher can snap you out of that a little bit, and like you said, kind of keep you off of those tendencies. Yeah. And go, well, hey, he's expecting a fastball up. Like, let's throw this curveball in the dirt, whatever. Let's change his eye line. Let's just completely confuse him and get him out on his front, whatever. I think there's something to be said for that too. And you think Parker Messick is trying to avoid the situation that I have? Like, so no, there's not going to be a pitch clock violation for Parker Messick. Here's what I did one time. Ben, I was playing MLB The Show and I was pitching and I woke up and I had bases loaded and there were just pitch clock violations get called. I'm like, how long have I been asleep, man? Like, I had nobody on base. To my knowledge, I woke up, bases loaded, maybe a run or two in. I have no idea how many pitch clock violations that is in a row. A good 14 or 16, I guess. I was in trouble, man.
But no,
avoiding that.
But I just think it's one of those things too, when it's like, when you look at Gavin Williams, right? Gavin Williams, I don't know if you noticed that, he's leading the league in strikeouts.
Yeah.
40 strikeouts. You're not even
10 or 11, but he's also walking 6 or 8 guys. Not his last start, but
he is. But at the same time, right? Like, but if he's walking 6 or 8 guys, but he's not giving up any runs, like I'll take that.
Come back to bite him eventually, though. You can't live like that. It's going to come back.
It will, but
he had a nice start. His last start, I think he struck out 11 and walked 1. So
yeah, but at the same time, you look at last year too, right? He had the same thing, and he finished with a 3.1 ERA.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things too, and it's like if you've hit like I told people, right? Like, yeah, Bibee has struggled, right? And you can't really reset a pitching rotation. You can't just be like, okay, we're gonna Bibee's no longer number 1. We're gonna give Gavin Williams all these. But like I told people, right? When you have that week off during the All-Star break, you can definitely reset a rotation there. You can be like, look,
you can move Bibee down to 3 or whatever. Yeah.
Like if Messick and Williams are still pitching this well come All-Star break, and Cantillo, dude, I think Bibee could be your 4th starter going into the second half of the year. Which
I mean, Messick and Cantillo were probably the 2 biggest question marks coming in. They're the guys that are pitching the best. I mean, I know Cantillo got hit a little bit. Was it last night he got hit? I think
2 nights ago. But he only gave up 3 runs though. But he struck out 8.
Yeah.
And after the 3 runs, he settled in and gave you 6 innings.
Okay.
And I just think it's one of those things.
Parker Messick legit? I mean, is he the future ace? I think about like a future of Parker Messick, Joey Cantillo, and Cal Steven, who's down in AA right now, that came over in that how many times am I gonna say Justin Bieber, dude? The Shane Bieber trade. Baby. Anyway, no, I think Cal Steven is a guy who I've got my eye on him in AA. I think he can develop a monster, man. I mean, you know what the Guardians do with these guys, these fastball guys. So,
but I think it's one of those things. I think it's one of those things too, and it's like, come playoff time, if Bibee's not pitching well, I don't think you make him a starter come playoff time. Like,
maybe he becomes the spot starter where it's like, okay, if you get into a mess or whatever, you need a long guy out of the bullpen, maybe he comes out and tries to give you 3 or 4 innings out of the bullpen. But I mean, something's going on with his mechanics or something physically. He's just missing a lot. I noticed that in that start against I obviously watched that game.
Yeah, he's missing a lot, and he's getting a lot of the plate.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was gonna say. He's up, he's out over the middle. I mean, it's not like it's just his pitches aren't bad. They're crisp. He's got good velocity. He's just something's off. I don't know if it's a mechanical thing or what it is, but he's just a little bit off.
But if there's anybody I trust to fix it, it's Carl Willis. That dude is that dude's a pitching whisperer. But going back to that Parker Messick no hitter. Talk about getting all the plate, right? Parker Messick threw like 92% first pitch strikes. So it's not like he was scared of hitters.
Yeah, no. But it wasn't a Jake Arrieta. Yeah, like kind of a 14 walk, 15 strikeout game or whatever.
Yeah. But like if you look at that game, right, like his pitches that were in the zone weren't middle. They were like right on the corner, they were, right on the paint on the inside, little bit off the paint. And these Orioles hitters, and they're hitting the ball hard.
He's got a really good feel for his release right now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things too. And it's like that ball that was hit, like, obviously, Brito was playing the shift. And if he's playing normal second base, he gets to that ball, right? I've seen people complaining about it. Why is he shifted? Yeah. It's the major leagues, dude. They have all these analytics that tell the guy that 90% of the time they pull the ball.
So the one time they don't, it looks bad. But I mean, you'll take the odds. Yeah. You'll take that. You play it by the book.
And somebody's like, well, when the no-hitter's on the line, you should just play straight up. It's like, dude, it's like 90% of the time he pulls the ball.
You get beat back the other way. You're going, why wouldn't he shift? He hits it there 90% of the time. Like, come on.
Yeah. And it's one of the things, too, and it's like, I don't think Parker Messick is scared to challenge hitters.
Yeah.
And I think, like,
do you think part of that is being young? Does that almost come with, like, the realization, like, holy crap, I'm in the major leagues? Like, or does he just...
No, but I think it's because of Austin Hedges. I think Hedges being that veteran guy is like, look, like, your stuff plays here. Let's go attack. Let's go get these guys, right? And I think with Bo Naylor, I'm not saying it's almost like he questions his own pitch call, but it's like sometimes he'll throw like a curveball and then it'll just be fastball, and give the guy to time it up, and the guy hits a 4-run homer, and you're like,
did you say a 4-run homer?
Or grand slam, whatever. But it's kind of those things when it's like, as a catcher,
triple.
As a catcher, like, this is a pitcher too. Like, as a catcher, like, you have to be like, you have to know what you want to throw.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I can't put down a fastball and be like, this might work, it might not work, but we're just gonna stick with it. Fastball. and then the guy hits it, and you're like, okay, well maybe I shouldn't have thrown that.
And it's just nice when you have a catcher that kind of can adapt to the ebbs and flows of a game. Like sometimes you go out there and you
don't
may
have your best stuff.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say you may not know it, but maybe that day your curveball's garbage. And I've had my catcher run out to me and go, "Hey, no more curves today," and I'm like, "Why?" Because it's not fair to the hitter, right? He's like, "Hey, just fastball change up today, man."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he's trying to be politically correct about it. Like your curveball sucks today. But it happens, right? And it's like sometimes you just don't realize it. You're trying to make it work, and you're not snapping it off quite right, but you're trying to throw it. And it's like your catcher knows you, right? Like, hey, this is one of those days he doesn't have it, so let's find another way. Eventually, maybe he finds it third, fourth inning or whatever. But for the first couple innings, let's get through. We'll change guys' eye lines, we'll change speeds, we'll do what we can. And I think it's good to have a catcher that can be versatile like that. And I think that's one thing Hedges does. Hedges is just very and again, everything you say, it's not comparing to Bo. I'm not saying that Bo Naylor's not smart, but Hedges is just so natural. It comes so naturally to him.
It seems like he's so much more prepared. Like obviously Bo Naylor's prepared. He's in the MLB. He's a major league catcher.
Sure.
But like you said, like last night, right? Like Slade Cecconi's fastball was not there, right? Like he's sitting 96, but it was catching so much of the plate that the Astros guys, like, it looked like a meatball to them. They're just smack, smack, smack. You're like, stop throwing it.
I know. Like, and you know what it is? Some guys just, they you can see them as a catcher normally. You can see them think so far ahead of the game that you're like, that guy's going to be a manager one day. Yeah. And Austin Hedges is definitely.
Oh, for sure.
For sure going to be a manager somewhere sooner than later, not long after his playing days, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I just think, like we talked about, right? Like, I think the Guardians will be just fine, and talking about the bullpen too, right? You got Andrew Walters, who's coming back off of rehab. He's pitched, I think, 4 games in Columbus and given up 1 earned run.
Yeah.
He's sitting like 96, 97.
Yeah.
So you get him back in your bullpen. You've got Daniel Espino is down there.
How's Hunter Gaddis been? I know he was.
He's been okay, better. He's been better since that first start where he got rocked a little bit.
I actually haven't seen him pitch much.
His velo's down this year. So
okay.
Right now he's 0-for-0 with a 6 ERA.
Yeah. Okay.
But the guy I want to see up is Daniel Espino. I don't think he's a starter anymore because of all the shoulder surgeries he had.
Let me ask you this before we get out of it, because I'm gonna have to get out of here. I'm looking at we're running up against it now. Logistics, man, it never stops. But before we get out of here, let me ask you this, because the offense clearly is, I don't know, I say they're struggling. Every once in a while they figure it out. Well, they got some guys that are starting to hit now, but they could use a boost, right? You want it to be Rhys Hoskins, you want it to be the big right-handed bat, but that's okay. He's hopefully he's gonna get going. But are you opposed right now? Travis Bazzana over his last 7-8 games, I'm not sure what the sample size is in Double-A or in Triple-A right now, is 13 for 32 with a home run. I think he's got 7 or 8 doubles. He's walked 5 times and stolen 3 bases. It looks like he's finally starting to, the OPS is coming up, the slug is coming up a little bit. He's starting to walk a little more. The plate, presence is there. I think his pitch selection is good. Do you see him coming up sooner, or is he going to be a later in the summer kind of a call up?
I think he'll be later in the summer. I will tell you this: the guy I want up right now, Cooper Engel.
Okay, all right.
He's hitting 357 on the year.
Okay.
A 617 OBP.
Okay.
He's got 4 homers and 12 RBIs.
Fair enough.
Now he's a catcher.
Yeah.
So you're like, you
really want? What do you do?
You want 4 catchers on your roster? I say no, right? David Fry, you're no longer a catcher. See you later. Goodbye. Yeah. I'm not saying you got to get rid of him, but when a guy's hitting this hot, he's hitting 357, right? Like, at some point, you got to look at your catchers and be like, okay, our catchers are batting.
Yeah, and Fry can play a lot of different positions.
Yeah.
He can do some things. So,
you're sitting there looking at, okay, our catchers are batting $140. This kid's hitting pretty much 400. Let's give him a chance, right? If he comes up and he's hitting not very well, okay, you send him back down, right? But I think it's one of those things where it's like you can't call him up for 1 game and then be like, okay, you're on the bench for the next 4.
Yeah.
You
gotta let him hit. You gotta let him develop, right?
Exactly.
And develop baseball hitting 1 day a week. That's tough.
Like I told my dad, right? I think Bo Naylor is a better hitter than he is catcher.
Yeah.
I think if Bo Naylor would focus on hitting, I think he could be a really, really, really good hitter.
Okay. Can you play first base? I mean, DH have been playing some first base, man.
And like I've said, right? I think if you call up Cooper Ingle, right? You let Hedges catch 4 days a week, Cooper Ingle catches 2, and then maybe you throw Bo Naylor back there 1 day a week, right? Just to keep his skills fresh, right?
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work out with Cooper Ingle, okay, you send it back down. Bo Naylor goes back to catching. But a guy hit 357 with a 617 on base percentage.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Clemson guy. I mean, the pedigree's there. I don't know.
That would lead your entire team. Average on base percentage. I don't know. I think Bazzana comes up around probably Labor Day.
Oh, you think right? Okay. That's I mean, that's late. I don't know. I mean,
I always forget. Well, when's Memorial Day?
Memorial Day's May.
May. So I think it'll be Labor Day. I think it'll be August call-ups. I think you could see Bazzana.
Okay, I wouldn't be surprised. Is it a service time thing with him? Are they messing with his service time?
Yes. They're playing the same game the Pirates played with Paul Skeens.
Yeah, and this is what they did with Lindor, and then all of a sudden, for those 10 years in between, the Guardians didn't really do that to their prospects. If guys are ready early, they came up. Maybe they feel Bazzana is so special that they don't want to lose that time, or maybe they feel like he just needs a little bit more time to develop defensively, mentally. I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating because 6 of the 8 guys that got taken right after him are up. And they're doing really, really well. And we can go through the list, but we don't have to. I mean, you can Google it. But it's just,
like I told people, I think Bazzana would have been up this year to start the season if he didn't have that oblique injury last year.
Maybe, yeah.
And we talked about on our one show, if he didn't hit $170 in the World Baseball Classic, I think he probably would have been called up over Juan Brito.
Yeah, possibly. You wanted to see a little bit of him on the big stage, and it didn't. It didn't go super well in the WBC. So I get that.
Maybe not Memorial Day. Maybe All-Star break. Maybe around July, if they're still slumping. Maybe you hey, we give this kid a chance. Maybe that's what they're waiting for with Cooper Ingle too. If he's still hitting around 300 come All-Star break, being hey, David Fry, or maybe at the trade deadline, maybe they're hey. Maybe they trade Bo Naylor and David Fry, and you bring up Cooper Ingle or something like that. I don't know. I just think he's hitting too hot right now to be. If he keeps hitting like this, you can't ignore him.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at him. I mean, in the minor leagues for 3 years, he's hit 283 with an on-base percentage of 416. His OPS is 870. I mean, that's pretty good. It doesn't necessarily translate to huge power numbers in the major leagues, but in 245 games, he's got 25 home runs. So you figure, I mean, if he could come up and be a 10, 15 home run guy.
But
scene from Moneyball, that's going to help, right?
Scene from Moneyball, what's he good at? He gets on base.
That's it. He gets on base. He's going to move some runners every once in a while. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Listen, they're not going to call up a guy that's going to come up and hit 50 home runs. It's not going to happen.
No.
They don't have Albert Bell sitting down there. They don't have Manny Ramirez sitting down there. Hopefully Travis Bazzana turns into something, but I feel like he's going to be more. He looks like he's going to be more of a gap to gap, kind of a lot of doubles. A few triples peppered in or whatever, but just good plate presence, good pitch selection, pretty good contact. He doesn't strike out a lot. He walks enough in today's game. It used to be back in the day you wanted to walk more than you struck out. Now it's you want to get close. It's weird. It's a different game, man. I'm old. Whatever.
It is, but no, it's. And I just think it's people look at slugging percentage and all that kind of stuff, and OPS, and it's I'm one of those guys that's dude, if I got 9 guys that all have a 300 on base percentage, how are you going to lose the game? Yeah. I don't care if their slugging percentage is low. If you got 9 guys that get on base all over 300, that means 1 every 3 times they're getting on base. You're going to have multiple innings where you got bases loaded.
Well, and the problem with the Guardians is they never put those together, right? It's the first 3, 1 out of 3, and then the second 3, 1 out of 3, the second 3 guys, 1 out of 3, and now you got a bunch of guys that were on base, 30% of the game or whatever, but it was never congruent or whatever. So, that's the problem with the Guardians, and hitting runners in scoring position has been a huge problem over the years too. So, all right. Well, the Guardians are still in first place for now. The Tigers, they worry me a little bit. They're getting hot, Ben. My Braves are pretty hot. My Braves are playing. They are. Well.
All I'm saying, Parker Messick has better stats than Tariq Skubal. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, it's early on in the season.
It's early, but
Messick
Tariq Skubal has a 2.7.
Yeah, I mean, Messick looks really, really good, man. It looks like the moment's not going to be too big for him, at least. So
the lights weren't too bright for the kid yet.
Yeah, you'll see. Maybe come playoffs, we'll see how he does, how he responds to that. Hopefully he can come up and, man, I don't know, be something, right? They could really use it. Especially with Tanner Bybee kind of scuffling a little bit. You don't know if he's going to get it turned around or not. You know, Gavin Williams is going pretty good. But man, if you could get 3 or 4 really good starting pitchers, and then maybe, you know, 2027, you add Cal Steven to the mix, or 2028.
I even think you could see Cal Steven this year too, depending on how well he does in Double-A.
He may get a later season call up, and he may get a start or two. Yeah,
I think it'd be like Trey Savage
for the playoffs. Yeah,
yeah. I think it'd be like the Trey Savage situation for the Blue Jays. Like, you call him up, right? Like, maybe say his 2 starts in the regular season, maybe he goes 2-0 and strikes out, like, I don't know, 15 guys. You're like, okay, maybe we give this guy some run in the playoffs.
And you kind of use him as a Swiss Army knife for a year in the playoffs and see where he fits in and kind of what to do with him in the future. But I think he's going to be a good one, man. Keep an eye on him.
I do too.
I actually haven't, and I want to look up his stats before we get off of here. I do have to go because I have to, like I said,
I saw one of his stats. I don't know if you saw the Rubber Ducks threw a combined no-hitter the other night.
Okay, yeah.
And my favorite pitcher and his nickname, Tugboat.
Okay.
His name's Matt Wilkinson, but his nickname's Tugboat.
Okay.
Went 5 innings, struck out 6. So.
Well, Cal Steven continues to pitch well. He's walked more guys than he did when he was with Toronto in the minors, but this year he's 1-1 with a 0.71 ERA. In 3 starts, Ben, he's gone 12 2/3. So he's not getting too far into games right now. 12 2/3, given up 9 hits. He's walked 11, but he has struck out 15. And like I said, the 0.71 ERA is.
But I feel like in the minors, though, a lot of guys don't go super long because they want to see more arms.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, that makes sense. 4 innings to get out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, like Matt Wilkinson in Single A was clearly the best pitcher on our roster, and he averaged like 4 innings to start.
And it's about preserving arms. You don't want to see a bunch of guys going 8 2/3 in the minors and throwing 160. I mean, that's what would be the point of that. So
yeah,
but no.
Hey, we want to call this guy up, but he currently has Tommy John because we threw him 414 pitches in 2 games.
Right. I will say this: his WHIP is way up, 1.579. It's way up from where it was when he was at Toronto. So, you know, keep an eye on that or whatever. He's walked a few guys, but I think maybe that could be the Guardians, you know, specifically working with him on that fastball slider, working with something just in that release point of the slider. Like I said, they develop the fastball slider guys better than anybody in baseball does. So keep an eye on him, man. Keep an eye. It's exciting. All right, we're gonna get out of here. You know, we're back. It took a little while and some logistics and stuff. I have all kinds of things going on schedule wise. But Ben and I we're gonna try to do this every Monday or Tuesday, right?
Yeah, around Monday or Tuesday.
Fair enough. So more Tuesday, not Monday, you know, not an official day, but Monday or Tuesday.
To Monday. There we go. To Monday.
Moose Day. That's a Cal's
Moose Day.
Moose Day. Yeah. Cal's favorite day.
Any day that ends with Y.
Yes, any day that ends with Y is probably not available for me because I feel like I'm so busy. Man, I thought when I was a kid, I was like, I can't wait to be an adult and have like nothing to do. Like I'm always doing stuff, people making me go places. And now I'm an adult and I'm always doing stuff and people are making me go places. It's not fair. Dang it. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for being with us. We will see you next Moose Day about none. Like noon or 1. We gotta stop making up words. It's not working. So all right, we're gonna get out of here. Ben, I hope you have an excellent rest of your Tuesday.
You as well.
Can't believe it's Tuesday already, buddy. But the week's flying. That's a good thing. Monday's gone, right? They say Tuesday's gone with the win, but Monday is gone with the win. So that's fine. We probably just got sued by Leonard Skinner. All right, we're out of here. We're gonna get out. I don't think I can say their lyrics, right? As long as I don't play the song. All right, well, that's it for us. Like I said, thanks for being with us. We will see you next Moose Day.
Deuces.